Funsie. Hello.
Welcome back, everyone, to Funsie. This week we are without our beanie wearing on top of his head friend Sajko. He is at a Christmas party. This is our special edition Christmas episode, and by special we mean it's a regular episode, and it's going to be a little bit shorter because Sajko's not here. So there you go. There has been some big things going down recently. Ben, yours is not really disc golf related, but it is it's big content related. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you were doing when you were gone a few months ago?
First I want to ask you this.
Yes.
I want to ask you this. What two teams were in Super Bowl 30?
30?
It's on your hat, brother.
Oh. You're right. Well, I know it was the Cowboys, and I know the Cowboys won.
Okay, there you go. I was just seeing if I was just joking because you knew like how they went.
Actually, let me double check.
Like wear a Metallica shirt. And it's like name 5 Metallica songs.
I'm pretty sure. Yes, Cowboys Steelers and the Cowboys won.
Oh, sick.
The reason I got this one was because it's a Cowboys won Super Bowl.
Oh, that's actually a sick hat.
I was so confused for a second. I was like, is this a trivia that you got on the thing you're about to talk about or something? No. Like, this is so random.
Super Bowl
but now
30?
It makes sense.
No.
It makes sense.
All right, yeah. So, I don't know if we ever hinted on this podcast exactly what I was doing at all. I kind of kept it very secret from everyone. As I was supposed to do. I mean, under an NDA. But if you guys know the creator called Mr. Beast, I was on his reality show this summer.
The one and the only.
Yep.
For those who don't know him, which I would be shocked, he is the most subscribed YouTuber on the platform at over 300 million subscribers. So there you go.
Insane. I think, probably like I think he might be at $250 million, or no, not a quarter, whatever, 1/3 of $1 billion. And so he did a reality show called Beast Games, and I was a part of it, and I competed in it over the summer, and you can see me. It's live right now. The episode is on Amazon Prime if you want to go watch me try and win $5 million against 2,000 other people.
Yeah, I think we might have hinted at it in an episode, but essentially one week Ben messages us and is like, I'm going to be out for like the next month or two, depending on how things go. And we're like, what are you talking about? What are you going to do? And he's like, oh, I can't tell you guys. I signed an NDA. And we were like, okay, whatever. So before he left, we like filmed a few extra episodes, and then I think Sajko and I did a few episodes on our own. But like I think it was like a little bit after, or maybe even before you left, I was like, oh shoot, I bet you're doing a reality TV show. And you were like, I can't say, but yeah, it made a little face at us, and we didn't know that it was Beast Games until like 2 weeks before Beast Games drops. Sajko was like, Ben, I know what show you're on. And Ben was like, what? And he's like, I saw that, Beast Games is about to come out, and you have something next Tuesday or something, and that's going to be the premiere. So I know you're on Beast Games. And Ben was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But true to his NDA till the final breath is Mr.
Have to.
Ben
yeah.
Guineas.
So Jimmy, if you're listening to this podcast, bro, bring me back, because I followed the rules in the NDA.
Yeah. Wait. So here's my first question. How did you get selected for this? How did you even hope to
Did you
apply?
watch it at all? Probably not.
I haven't watched any of it yet. I've watched part of the YouTube video.
Okay. So next podcast, this can be like a brief one. Next podcast, I want you and Sajko to watch episode 1 and 2, and I want you to ask me questions off of that, because I feel like there's a ton of like things that I know is gonna blow your mind, where you're gonna be like, bro, are you an idiot, or stuff like that. So I think that would actually be really cool. Is what I'm saying. I'm going to answer your question now. I'm not saying like we should not do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
But yeah, I want to do like a before and after, before you watch and then after. I think that'd be really cool. For our next, or whenever, it doesn't have to be next. But anyways, so how I got on it, I applied. I know it sounds as silly, but that's literally what I did. I
How did
somehow
you
found
know to apply?
I saw the link somewhere. I think it might have been on it. I think it was on Instagram. Clicked the link, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I've always wanted to be in a Mr. Beast video. First and
Yeah,
foremost, like I've
I'm
been a
sure
fan of
so many
him.
people have. Yeah.
I've been a fan of him like when he first was blowing up. This is when he was counting to like 100,000. This is the first video I saw. He counted to 100,000. It was like a 24-hour video. I'm like, what? This is crazy. And then he started getting into like giving a homeless man $10,000 and filling a pool with Orbeez and last one to leave the house. So that gets the house or something. Last one to touch the house. So that's what I was kind of got started in Mr. Beast, and I'm always watching these videos. And back then, his videos were like just really unique and new and fresh. I mean, obviously, you see it, everyone in the world is trying to copy him. I don't think there's one creator that isn't. In some way, I should say. Obviously, like there's just some things like it's called Beastified YouTube. There's some things that Mr. Beast like started that like now it's just the core of YouTube. And I would always look at these challenges where it's like last one to leave the circle. I'd be like, bro, if I'm in this situation, this is the easiest thing ever. Like it's mind over matter, baby. And I would tell myself that. And I've always wanted the chance. And I've applied over years. I've actually got in an interview 2 years ago with one of his casting people. But nothing came
Wait,
of
what
it.
the heck? How did you? He doesn't like post these applications on his channel. What are you following that has these
Oh,
applications?
so the how I found that one, it was like Mr. Beast casting Instagram, and it was just created, and I somehow found it, and I started applying to it because he doesn't share about it. So then I applied to it. This was like 2 years ago. Was in an interview, nothing came of it. Whatever. And then 2 years later, another opportunity pops up, and I see it, and I'm like, okay, like it's for 2,000 contestants, the Beast Games. Like it gives you the lowdown, and I'm like, okay, like I could easily be one of 2,000 contestants. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I just applied, gave my spiel, who I was, that I make content because that's what they want to hear. Honestly, they want to hear that you're a cool guy or girl and that you're good in front of the camera and are personable, and like those are things they're looking for. So I made my own audition film. I stated my accolades, what I do in disc golf, and just like in a quirky, fun way. And I was chosen, and I wasn't chosen off the bat. I got a call like, "Hey, we really like you. Yada yada yada. Do you have a passport?" I was like, "I don't have a passport." So then I didn't think I would get the call, so then I had to rush a passport. I called them back like, "Hey, I have my passport now." And then they sent me through, and I had to do a few more interviews, and then I got an email like, "You have been selected," and that's when I had the first week. The first time I had to go to Vegas to compete, and then after that, after I
They flew you
survived,
out and everything, right?
yeah, correct. And after
Nice.
I survived Vegas, I had to go to Toronto to compete in the Beast Games. So the first
This is
1,000
all
people,
back to back, right?
sort of. So not back to back. Like Vegas, 2 week break at your house, then you go to Toronto for the actual Beast Games. So the Vegas was like preliminary. They wanted the best people competing. So the 2,000 people were in Vegas. So I had to survive just to even get into the games, because they wanted like the best of the best. So that YouTube video we're watching was just like they call it episode 0. That was the preliminary that they want. Like, so
Yeah.
1,000 people would go on, and I was one of the 1,000. So I had to compete
Nice, dude.
for my spots.
That's cool. Did Did you have? So I've seen a little bit of allegations of people being mistreated. Did you experience any of that?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess this episode I'll just talk about my experience, and then once you guys watch it, we'll get a little deeper.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it.
It's gonna be like a Mr. Beast podcast for like 2 episodes. So if you were intrigued by this,
we
don't
still
worry.
have.
Oh yes,
don't
at
worry,
the end,
guys. We
disc
will
golf,
talk about
Kale
Leviscus.
Leviscus. Don't worry.
We will talk about GK Pro or Go
Throw.
Throw. Yeah, we'll talk about this stuff, but we want to hear this first.
So it is funny that you read. How did you even read those allegations? It just went viral, or you just?
Yeah, I think some of it. Yeah, this was partially during whenever Mr. Beast was getting on the hate for Chris, or I think they changed their name, but I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. There
Chris,
was a lot
Ava,
of allegations.
Ava,
yes.
whatever.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, it is around the same time. Yes. So that was unrelated. The other things, but yes. So in Vegas, we get flown out, and we are competing in the Raiders Stadium, Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah.
And so it's 2,000 people. We're sleeping on the floor of the stadium.
What?
Like the turf. Yeah, like the turf
way.
of the stadium. So we were there for 4 days. I think it was.
Were you just
3 nights.
Was this I haven't watched the whole video, so sorry. Was this part of the challenge? Like you had to stay there?
So,
or was it literally just they were too cheap to get you hotel rooms?
I think it was part of the challenge, honestly. That part wasn't the bad part. Like that part, if in my opinion, if you're going into like a reality show like that or Mr. Beast, you got to expect like you're going to have to like kind of get gritty. You know what I'm saying?
Well, was there not like they gave you cots, right? At least?
No.
Or something? Sleeping bags?
They gave us sleeping bags. Everyone slept on the floor.
Wow.
That's
a little shocking to me, honestly.
Hey, but like it's just it's a like when you go on Survivor, you don't expect to have.
Yeah, but that's Survivor, not Beast Games. Survivor is literally in the name. You need to survive whatever comes at you.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is that's not even the like that part wasn't even.
Okay, yeah, get to the bad part. Get to the bad part.
The part where like that would have been fun. The part where really kind of was sketchy is, it was just, and this is not on like Mr. Beast and his team. There like obviously, I don't know, maybe it's a production company. I forget what it's called. Like they had a production company that planned all of this stuff. So it was just legit. It was a logistical nightmare. That's what I'll say. 2,000 people in one room, and they opted. One of the worst things, they opted for food. We were eating quinoa, boiled eggs, and tofu. Chicken, if you were lucky, but the chicken would run out within the first 2 minutes, and then we would just have tofu. So think breakfast, lunch, dinner, quinoa in a TV dinner tray. Quinoa, tofu, boiled egg, and I think like some vegetables and like cold.
Dude, that sounds disgusting.
Yo, it was disgusting. I won't. And the funniest part was there was also Feastable bars. Like every once in a while, they would the cast and crew would come out with Feastable bars, and they were like a hot commodity. Like it was crazy. It was like the $100 bill. Like you were bartering Feastables, and like it was a commodity. We had our own economy, our own society. Because we were locked away from the world. We didn't have phones. We didn't have anything. We were at our, so yeah. It was. I thought that was like kind of cool how like we started to we started to store away the Feastables. But like what I'm saying is, if this was like a bubble, hypothetically, a bubble, and you just let this experiment run for like 100 years, and like. Like Feastables would have been like gold if you can get that analogy. Like the dollar would have been backed by Feastables. So
that's
which
hilarious.
is Mr. Beast chocolate bar. But I will say the first time I had a Feastable, I was starving, and this is the first time we all run out and Jimmy's there and Chris Paul's there and all the guys there, and he started tossing Feastables. It was single-handedly the best bite of chocolate I've ever had. And I'm not saying that as like a promo for festivals. I'm saying that as like that's just how like hungry I was at that moment because
Oh gosh.
it took. We woke up like super early in the morning and didn't eat until like 2 a.m. So,
Oh
but
my gosh.
it was the best bite. But yeah, the main thing was
So they didn't feed you, and then when they fed you, it was horrible food.
yes, and yeah, it was just like it was just horrible food. People weren't getting their clothing because we bought a change of clothes, but some people it wasn't there or wasn't organized, and some people weren't able to get their medications and
Oh
stuff like
no,
that.
that's actually really bad.
Yeah, so, and then like some feminine products and stuff like that, people weren't supposed to get, like they ran out. Um, so that was the biggest like thing, the reason it caused ripples and waves because yes, that part of it obviously wasn't his plan.
And
It's
this is
just,
during Vegas, right? This
this is
isn't
during
during
Vegas. This wasn't part of the challenge. It was just the whatever production
episode
team or
0.
whatever,
Yeah,
or I don't know, whoever was in charge of whatever. It was just a
drop the
logistical
ball.
nightmare. Yeah, it was just like they just didn't. They weren't up to par on which. A part of me can also understand like when you're 2,000 people, you're like have a base plan, but it never goes as expected ever. And by that, especially when you're staying over, like you see that all the time with things like with the Netflix and the Tyson fight. Like I'm sure, or like on like GK Pro skins matches, even a one in disc golf. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
plan, made sure everything was okay, and then always something you never know what's gonna
Something came up. Yeah.
something, so that they just weren't prepared for the sheer amount of people. And I don't think they understood just how much
Yep.
2,000 people were. So I will say I did not have a bad time there. I had an amazing time, but I also will say I did not have medication. I am not a woman, and
Yeah, you're more
yeah,
scrappy. You're more scrappy than
yeah.
most
So
people probably are.
that's why I
You
don't.
play disc golf.
Yeah, I know. Like I don't. I understand people had a very bad time, but for me personally, I had a tremendous time in Vegas. And I honestly sleeping on the floor. It was just I don't know. We had our own community. It was
Good
just
vibes.
a really it was a really good time. I met some like the best people in my best friends through that show. Like people that like I'll probably be friends for life. And yeah. So but every other than like the bad stuff, the food was bad, but it's like whatever, you can live with it. The main thing was the medication and the clothing and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. So
So
that sounds horrible.
yes, so that was unfortunate, but I think I I think the Beast people let go of that company, or I don't know who was in charge of it, honestly. And then for Beast Games, we are treated like kings. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
queens.
Well, because that's Amazon, so
Yeah. So it was like they
they
understood
flipped
what
the
happened,
switch.
and we were treated like we were fed well. We stayed in a hotel room every night, other than when we made it to the city. But it was a hotel room every night. And so there was no and medications. Everything was super organized. Um, Nothing was wrong there. But so I'll just backtrack to Vegas. So other than those things, I'll take you like through like kind of like the schedule. We got there, I don't know, maybe Thursday night. I want to say, I think it was Thursday night, and at 2 a.m. that's when they let us onto the field and understood what we were doing. And then they made us get into teams and do the boulder challenge. If you see on the thing,
I've seen the Boulder Challenge. That's
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the things
So
I've
it was
seen.
kind of that was a scrappy moment too. It was the first challenge.
Which
They
team were
started
you
handing
on?
out jerseys and people started sprinting. So there was like you had to fight for your jersey. You had to like That's kind of what goes in hand with like they weren't. I don't think they were prepared for the sheer amount
Super organized. Yeah.
of people. So I
Which one
fought
were you
for
on?
my green. I fought for my green jersey because I knew the team that eventually ended up losing, which was red team.
Red.
Yes, I knew in the back of my head because originally they had us line up in 4 groups. Oh no, originally they had us in 4 sectors. So we thought like going into the stadium. So we thought like, oh, like it was like ABCD or something. We thought that was gonna be our team. So then we were all like, okay, like this team. But then red team was the people that didn't get any of the jerseys. So the scragglers. You know what I'm saying? So we were already in four
Yeah.
sectors
So like
thinking,
they weren't quick enough to get one, so
yeah,
they were
so then they're
already
like,
at a
oh,
disadvantage.
yeah, so then it's kind of like the people
The
that
older people, the less athletic people.
exactly, stuff like that where it's like because we all thought we're like, wait, there's five boulders because we thought our it was like corridors, we thought we were going to be on the same team and stuff like that. But yeah, so then I kind of in the back of my head I was like, I have to do whatever it takes to not get on that team. And it turned out I was right because it was just kind of like the people that didn't get a jersey. And so survived that. Then we sleep on the floor in Allegiant Stadium. And this is the best part. Just like full 12 hours after you wake up of just hanging out with friends that you just met, hanging out. And we're all in a similar experience, this odd, weird world that we're in. Like we're all in a Mr. Beast video, all hanging out. We all
Were there any famous people that were
Yes.
contestants? Who?
Yes.
Can you not spoil that, or?
Well, there's like social media. There's nothing crazy like, but
Who? Like anyone I would know, or?
No. Probably not. I don't know. Like
Just
social
people
media,
that had like
people that have like
followings.
millions of followers and 400,000 followers or stuff like that. But or like models or Twitch streamers that like. But this is where I was going with, and Jake Paul's old manager, which I didn't know. But this is where I'm going. I didn't know this was Jake Paul's old manager. This is just a guy to me. This is what I love so much about it. We were all wearing the same clothes, so we couldn't get a read on how each other was off clothing. You had to talk to the person.
Yeah.
And we had no idea about their lives. You didn't know how many followers they had, how cool they were, anything about them. It was just such an incredible, just social experience where it was just like we were all on the same playing field, and just like it was just a totally new thing for all of us, and we couldn't judge anyone. We were all on the same. We didn't have. There's no clothes to judge. It was crazy.
No preconceived notions.
Yes, exactly. Because
you have no followers, or you have a lot of followers. So
yes,
I'm sure you're
because
cool,
there's some people that I became friends with in the game that were like full-time social media influencers, like tons of followers, and I like that's after we follow each other and we're like, wait, what the heck? I'm like, what the heck? This guy's like freaking
huge,
sick.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that I was just friends with him because of who or her. Like, there's a few people, him or her, just because of who they were, not because I saw, oh my goodness,
what they did. Or
this is a good networking connection. So
yeah.
I thought that was one of the coolest things. Just getting to
that's
know
really
people.
Cool.
Yeah, getting to know people, and actually, one of my groomsmen is a person I met at Vegas Beast Games. So
dang, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
homie for life. So follow-up question: How do I get on Beast Games 2? You got the hookup?
I don't have the hookup. You literally just have to apply. I think you would get in. You just have to do like one of your edits. That's what they're looking for. That's what I'm saying. I think the most important thing if you want to get on Beast Games 2 is don't make a video like this. Hi, my name is. Like, you gotta just think outside the box. Like, my name's Jay Billy, and then it cuts to something, and then it's you acing, and then like bashing your head against some chains, and just being like, ah. Not really, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it has to be artsy, unique, articulate. It has to be had the pizzazz to it. I would show my Beast Games audition video, but it's just so cringy. You know what I'm saying? It's just me talking about how cool I am.
Is yours no edits? Is yours just talking, or did you put edits?
There's edits. There's edits. That's what I'm saying. It's got to be edited. It's got to be professional. It's got to be outside of their where it's like it's got to be different because they get a million auditions. Like, hi, my name is.
So now that you said you don't want to post it, you have to post it.
I'm not. I'm literally never
Funsie podcast exclusive. Ben Kinney will be posting this.
All right, you have to post your engagement then, buddy. Exactly. So
Not the
exactly.
same. Not the same.
Exactly.
This is just for you. I would be making that decision for me and my wife. So
Well,
can't force me to do anything in this situation. Sorry, bud.
you're right. Same. No.
No, that's awesome. You when they put out the new application, you gotta let me know. I don't even know where to look for this kind of thing.
It's literally Beast Casting Instagram or something like that. That's where I found it.
Okay,
It like popped
I'll
up
follow
on
that.
my explore feed or something. Um,
I'll follow it right now.
yeah. So, dude, yeah, I think you got a good chance of getting selected for sure. So,
Anything else interesting before we watch it and ask you questions about what's going on?
yeah. I recapped Vegas. It was super fun. We hung out after with all my friends at the strip. I was there for like a few days after, and it was just a great time. So then Beast Games comes. I already have a lot of good friends, and we go to Toronto, and we're hanging out in hotels, ready for the games and stuff like that. Oh, I guess, yeah, maybe we save the Beast Games stuff for that next episode because a lot of stuff I'm going to say is just going to spoil it for y'all. I'm now realizing. Because, yeah, the Vegas stuff doesn't really matter. It's just his YouTube video. It's cool, but like the Beast Games is where it gets really intense and crazy and kind of awesome. But yeah, Vegas, I know there was bad things. Don't get me wrong, but I think it. I think it was still an amazing time, and I don't think a lot of the accusations and stuff that were coming after, like him and all that, were a little or a lot of over out overblown out or is it blown over proportion? I don't know what phrase it is. Like what I said was like the actual things that happened
Happen.
where like the
Yeah.
food was bad. Some people didn't get their medications because it was unorganized, and some people again didn't get their clothes, and sometimes feminine products ran out. Everything else, like, is I think is kind of subjective, person to person, because some people obviously aren't gonna enjoy sleeping on the ground, and they're gonna have, and stuff like that, but I didn't think it was that like big of a deal
Do
personally.
you
I swear.
do you get screen time? Have you seen yourself? Will
Of
you get
course,
screen time?
yes. In Beast Games, I do a few times. So
Like like you talk? Like what
you'll have to see, buddy.
are you
You
not
gotta
allowed to
watch it.
spoil this or you don't want to spoil
I
this?
don't want to spoil it. Technically, I am allowed to spoil it, but I don't because it's
Are
out
you
now.
oh, just ask this. Are you in the first two episodes? Like obviously you're in
Yes.
it, but like are you like you talk? Like you're a talking head, your voice is there? What
So I just want to say watch it and see if you can spot me, and that's what I'll leave it at.
do you okay, tell me this. Do you get more prominent? Like do you last long enough to be like people will know who you were? Are you going to get followers on Instagram?
This is spoilers. Will I get followers on Instagram? Probably. Will I get a lot because I'm now super rich because of Beast Games and super prominent and like was like the main character? No.
So you didn't win.
Go watch the
Dude, I
videos.
mean
I,
no one's going to care.
you just go watch. Like I just don't want to spoil it. Go
How
watch.
long is it? How many episodes are there?
There's gonna be 10. Only 1 and 2 are out. That's what I'm saying.
And
It's not
how
out
long
yet.
are they?
Might be I think an hour each, maybe 40 minutes each.
I don't have that kind of time. I'll watch them on two times speed.
It's all good, bro.
Forcing me to watch this. At some point, you're just gonna have to recap because you're gonna have to do the Cliff Notes version because I'm not gonna watch. All right, sounds like you don't have anything else until we watch it. So
Yeah, you guys just gotta
um,
watch it. I think it'll be good stuff.
all right,
I mean,
all right.
listen, if you don't watch it, this is just like low hanging fruit for viewers, to be honest. So if you don't watch it, Funsie's not gonna get the subscribers or the views. So you have to watch it.
Okay, fine. I'll watch it. Whatever.
because all you have to say is Mr. Beast, behind the scenes contestant, and then boom, Funsie's
Funsie
now.
to the moon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on from Mr. Beast. All right. Goodbye, non-disc golf fans. You can leave now. We're going to talk about disc golf. And hello, disc golf fans. You can tune in now. We're going to talk about disc golf.
Tune in, baby.
Kale LaVisca. Let's start with that. Do you have insight on this?
No.
You don't actually know anything about this.
No,
No one's told you. This was a shock to you. So you can give your genuine take without knowledge.
Yes. No one has told me. This is a shock to me.
What do you think's going on? What you think it's Shoestrick? So for those listening, Will Shoestrick got upgraded to CEO last week in Prodigy, and I don't know what his position was before. I thought he was just like a sponsored player or something, but now he's CEO, which is really cool because, Will Shoestrick is a really good player, won a ton of majors, etc. And announced today, I believe, if not today, yesterday, Kale LaVisca, longtime Prodigy sponsored player, big in the brand, has his own line of discs in Prodigy.
I think partial
has promoted
ownership
Prodigy
too.
Partial owner,
or did have partial ownership.
Left Prodigy or got cut or whatever happens, he's gone. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Shoestrick had a hand in this? Do you think this is Kale's decision? What do you think went down? Do you think we'll ever know?
I absolutely do not think Shoestrick did anything. I think this was Kale's
I don't think
decision.
he did either. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's just there's a lot riding on Will's shoulders, and I think this whole fresh face, fresh Prodigy, there's a lot riding on it. And I think he was probably thinking, like, I've been in them for 12 years. The ship's kind of currently
sinking,
borderline about to sink. They want to keep it afloat and bring it back up to land. And he was probably thinking, like, I had a great time here. Might as well do it while they're kind of doing a rebrand, the rebuild phase. It feels like Prodigy's kind of like the Patriots right now, where they're just like trying to rebuild. So I think Kale was just like, I've had a great run, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Kale thought this was just best for the company. You know what I'm saying? Where he's an old head. He's not like old, but he's been with Prodigy for 12 years. Comparatively to Prodigy, I think when Prodigy started, he probably was first signed to them when it started. And he's probably like, it's time for fresh faces. For the sake of me and Prodigy, I think it's best I leave. So I think it was all mutual. I think everything was copacetic. I think Kale, it was just time for him to move on because Prodigy's about to go through they have to go through something absolutely monumental to really win back the disc golf market, and I think they will. I'm a big fan of Will Shoestrick. I'll say that. I'm a huge fan, just as a player, but not as a player, but as a person. And I think bringing him on board was an absolutely great move by whoever.
There you go. There's been Kenny's take without any biases of knowing what's going on. Yeah, I think with my limited scope of knowledge, I don't know anything. That's my caveat. I think it's possible that Kale retained his ownership, cut the spot. I don't know how being a part owner and being a sponsored player at the same time works. I'm sure they had something worked out where he's a part owner in terms of equity, but he gets paid a stipend or like salary or something. But what I think might have happened, which is possible, but I'm not sure, is he stopped getting paid a salary. He's still a part owner, and he stopped getting paid a salary to make room for Isaac, or, some big move or whatever you're saying. And that in turn, if they re-sign Isaac, Prodigy equity would probably go way up, which would make his shares worth way more money. The only thing that gets kind of weird is if he is still a part owner and gets sponsored by someone else, which I don't know. I'm fairly certain he'll get sponsored by
I-
someone else.
He will,
You don't think he
but
will?
he will. I don't think he's a part owner. Like that doesn't make sense. Why would you announce that you're leaving Prodigy? Like this is like
Yeah, he
when
must have
Brad
got bought out.
Stevens
You're right. He must
got
have got
fired
bought
from
out.
head coach and went to GM. It wasn't like I'm leaving the Celtics. It's like no, I'm no longer a head coach. I'm now the general manager.
Yeah, yeah. I think my take
Oh,
falls short
that's another good.
when you think about sponsorships,
That's a
because
cool
if he's
point though. What you just said, I think that could have happened. Will probably could have given the opportunity, like bro, like
yeah, he
we're
could have bought
starting
out.
something new. We'll give you we'll buy you out, and like could have been like 100,000, 200,000, and that kills
It's probably
time.
a lot of money.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
his time in his life. He's like, yeah, it makes sense. They bought him out. They
I mean,
probably, yeah,
in that situation, if I'm in Kale's situation, assuming he had part ownership, whatever, he has worked out, he's getting a salary and he has part ownership, and someone comes to me and says, "Hey, we're rebranding, we're restarting, you know, we will buy out your shares or you can stick with us and we're going to be greater than ever." If I'm in Kale's shoes, I'm like, okay, so you can't pay me as much money. I'm going to have to grind with you guys until we're in a good spot. Or I can take all this money and then go get more money from another sponsor who's in a better spot. I'm doing that. I'm taking a ton of money, which might be what happened. Maybe it's not what happened. And I'm going to go to a sponsor who is more reliable and is going to give me money on top of whatever part ownership I sold. Like if he gets 200 grand from Prodigy just for buying out his stake, and then on top of that goes to Discraft and gets, heck, it's a small contract for 40 grand a year. I mean, that's not small, but smaller. Uh, that's on top of the 200 he already got. That's pretty solid. I would do that. I would do that for sure.
yeah. I think we all. I think we all would, especially. I don't know. Obviously, it seems like Prodigy is definitely trending down, but I think there's hope, and I'm hoping Will. Here, let, let let's actually play a little game. We just got promoted as co-CEOs of Prodigy. What is what is our next step? Here's what I would do, and then you can tell us yours. For Prodigy, what I would do is, I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe they're in debt. Maybe that's why they had to liquidate everything and get rid of all their players. But let's just say we're not in debt. I don't know. Let's say we're at $0 and can have an angel investor that's like, well, I'll give you money, a few like hundred thousands of dollars. Don't worry about it. Or I don't know. Anyways, what I would do first and foremost is I would completely restructure the discs names. I think that would be my first call. I would get rid of the H6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, and I would just either I don't even think I would stick with the number system. I would come out with everything as a new, like the D1 would be the, let's say, Prodigy, the chemistry or something like that. I think that would be my first move for marketing. It's just something new. This is Prodigy's new brand. The second thing I think I would do is, I don't know how, I think they might have in-house manufacturing, or maybe overseas. I think it's overseas.
It's overseas.
Okay.
Or their plastic is at least from overseas.
So the second thing I would do before I even release anything else, I would just nail something down. Nail out a killer plastic where people cannot refuse to like try it out. Because I think that's the biggest.
I feel like that's what they tried with Fractal. Sorry, continue.
No, but I think Fractal kind of worked. I think
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
I think it worked. I think it was like a kind of new thing, and it worked for some people. Where it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Let me try this out. I agree with you. Like something like that. But like, I might even start going to like a Clash disc and being like, can you manufacture it for us? Don't tell anyone. Like this would be private label, but like or something like that. Where it's just like I would just nail down a plastic as
Yeah.
my first things to really like. I think to really you want with the new will on top. You want a really good follow up. You don't want to like a classic. Like we knew this was gonna happen. You want
Yeah,
something
they
like bang.
can't yeah, they can't do half measures. They're past half measures. There's no half measure that will save them, in my opinion. There have been too many mistakes, too many L's when it comes to flashing, when it comes to Gann and Burr, when it comes to just the entire association with the brand is negative. No one wants to throw it. I've talked to many retailers. No one buys Prodigy. That's just how it is, unfortunately. They just have lost the market. So bringing in Will Shoestrick, great idea. People love Will Shoestrick. They wish he still plays. All this, great idea. Awesome. If I'm the CEO, like you're saying, yes, it needs to be a complete rebrand. I like the idea of Yes, I like Ben's idea of renaming the discs. I think people would get a little upset, so maybe not that drastic, but maybe moving forward, we do away with it. Maybe retire
Yes.
a few molds and then make similar molds to them with new names. Prodigy, you know what I think of it instantly, which I think could be a really cool naming scheme, is name it after prodigies. Like, I don't know, wasn't Mozart a
Mozart.
prodigy?
Oh
Yeah.
yo,
Or yeah,
did we
yeah.
just
Or
do that at the same
Yeah,
time? That's
literally,
crazy.
literally. Or like
Mozart.
Magnus Carlsen in chess. He was a chess
Yo,
prodigy.
that
Magnus, yeah, name it Magnus.
Jay Billy.
Yeah,
That is actually so smart. That is actually so smart. The Mozart, the Bach, the
yeah, dude. Just
Beethoven.
come up like I feel like maybe there's some legal precedence there. I don't think so. They're names, and like if you do
You're right.
that, like it's cool. A disc
Oh,
called the
you're right
Magnus.
though.
That's
It's like
awesome.
it's their likeness though.
Is it? If you're just doing one name, it is hard.
It
If you're
might
gonna
be
do a
tough.
stamp that looks like you, you can't do that. You can't get away with it.
If
But
we
if you just
call it the
name it,
Magnus, I don't know, but if there's no legal implications, that's actually a sick idea.
yeah, and
Prodigies.
people are like, oh, okay, like this is the turning of a new leaf. They're done with their old naming convention. Come up with a new naming convention. On top of that, flashing is the big thing that people are always like, Prodigy has flashing, their quality control is horrible. Yes, new plastic and new quality control measures. Every disc that goes out of the warehouse to go in a consumer's hand has to be quality controlled 3 or 4 times by disc golfers, by someone who would throw the disc, not by some Chinese factory that's like, oh yeah, this works. Buy someone that's gonna grip the disc and be like, yes, this, like I could throw this disc and be confident that I'm happy with how it feels in my hand. So quality control, renaming. Honestly, I got the team. I think getting rid of almost everyone.
I
Like
think
I
that's what they're
think
doing. I think it's smart. I
I
think it's smart.
I think it's just, yeah, just restart, man. Get rid of the street team, get rid of just everything that's even set up and restart. I think going down,
Street
I
team.
think something that people have been missing out on is going down the creator route. I think that Discraft getting Brody was
Ooh.
huge for them. And so honestly, if
Ooh.
Prodigy doesn't get Robinson back, which they might be laying all their eggs in that basket. If they don't get Robinson back, I say gut the whole team and send me and Bodanza huge contracts, or something silly like that. Like try something. Bodanza has proven that he can sell a ton of discs, and that's the same for almost everyone out there. I'm a little bit biased against Prodigy. I think most creators, most consumers are biased against Prodigy. But if you can put a presentation in front of me that's like, hey, here's how we're going to improve. Here's what we're doing. we're going to try to sign you. We're going to try to sign Bodanza. We're going to sign Broderick. We're going to get Foundation on the team. And we are going to invest in you creators to be the people throwing our plastic, throwing our discs. I don't know, man. I think creators probably sell. I'd be interested to see the number
I
of discs
know
that
Bonanza
creators
sells
sell
more than
versus the
any
pros.
pro on Infinite.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. You know, it, I, it's crazy to me that a manufacturer hasn't laid out a bag for a creator like Bodanza. I don't sell a ton of discs right now. I'm still finding my foothold in the sport. Don't lay a bag out for me yet.
Well,
Well,
here's
if
the
you want
thing.
to, go for it.
I feel
But
like
like,
bag is
lay a bag for Bodanza. Yeah.
I feel like bag is a relative term because I feel like a bag for someone on tour that needs to survive every day versus a bag for a creator that's already thriving, already making a lot of money. I think it's different. I think a bag, like, in a way, I mean, bag in like, it doesn't even have to be a bag, as you're saying. It doesn't have to be the $250,000 Chris Dickerson contract. I mean,
Sorry. Yeah. Definitely does not need to be that.
that's what I'm saying. I think if Prodigy came to you and said, "We'll give you 50 grand," I mean, just to throw
Yeah.
that
If
is,
if
yeah,
if Prodigy
it was
comes to
50
me
grand.
and says, "I'll give you 50 grand on the season. We'll get you into these events and pay your fees, and we'll run signature discs. You get a couple bucks a disc. Smash accept.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
smash accept with the
Caveats, but
caveat that
yeah,
they're gonna, they're rebranding. They're fixing the things that are messed up. I don't want to be associated with a brand that is still struggling, that is still making the same mistakes that kind of sunk the ship per se. But if they have the caveat and tell me, hey, here's our outlook moving forward and here's 50 grand, I'm like, smash accept. Yes, I would
yeah,
love to
that's what I'm
try to
saying.
rebrand Prodigy. I would help you with that. That is such a good idea. I'm in. We can change Prodigy together. But I doubt it. It's definitely a risky move. I doubt that they would do that.
Well, yeah, maybe 30 grand. I think that's
Yeah,
30 grand.
even 30 grand, dude. I would love 30 grand. That would
That's what I'm
help
saying.
me
Well,
make my disc
I
golf
think
dreams come true.
that would make you. I think 30 grand would make you probably go full time, just like take that leap.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think they probably have. I really like that idea. I really, really like that idea. I would start just with the big boys like you, Bodanza. I don't even know Foundation, but that doesn't
I
make
mean,
sense.
they already sponsored Foundation's Imposter series,
Yeah,
It could be interesting to see what it'd take to be their bag sponsor. I mean, I think Bodanza and I make a lot of sense because we play competitively.
correct.
It's the two time, you get the creative side and you get the pro side, which we push because we make our videos about them. Foundation and Project get a little bit more tricky because they're not necessarily playing in tournaments or whatnot. Maybe just go after Trevor because Trevor is starting to play flex starts and make his own videos on his own channel. I'm sure
Ooh,
Trevor would take 30 grand to sport Prodigy in every video,
yeah, but that might be tough. Just a conflict of interest. I feel like he's high up in Foundation. I wouldn't be surprised if he has some sort of ownership. Maybe I'm not saying I don't know anything. This is just I'm speaking like completely guessing. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like it wouldn't. So that'd be tricky because he wouldn't be able to promote any discs for his own company to thrive, or at least if
Well,
he's not an owner, like he's high up in Foundation. So it's
he's
like,
high up in Foundation, but Foundation doesn't manufacture discs. So it definitely gets
but like
tricky because
it's
he
like yeah,
couldn't
you
like
can't promote. Like why would I promote?
he couldn't
Like
throw
we have these for
whatever. He'd
sale.
have to throw Prodigy in every disc, and he couldn't
Yeah,
have his own signature line with Finish Line or the
hooligan.
signature Hooligan. Yeah, he definitely couldn't. But is it worth 30 grand? Probably. Probably worth 30 grand to throw exclusively Prodigy. Because a lot of the videos they film, like the monthly match, they throw their own bag. There's a lot of videos that he could still
No,
film.
yeah, they're definitely the biggest disc golf content group. I don't know. Well, but I guess but they're like the biggest kind of like play.
Behind Simon, they're the biggest YouTube. They're the biggest disc
But
golf
that's what I'm saying.
YouTubers.
They're the biggest. They're the biggest like. Yeah. Like playing like this. We're playing disc golf is what I mean. They don't really do disc reviews or like. It's like we're playing disc golf. We're doing a challenge, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like they're definitely the biggest in that. That's behind
And
Simon. Yeah, I guess Simon does the same thing where it's like I'll play this.
in terms of views, I would say they're the biggest. They put out 5 videos a week or 4 videos a
like
week. They have
easily
podcasts.
50K, 60K.
Yeah. In terms of views, they put out the most views by any disc golf YouTuber. Sorry, this is catty corner to what we're talking about. Prodigy has to, long story short, Prodigy has to do something big. I think the first steps in motion, good plays. LaVisca gone. That's crazy. That's big news. Prodigy, it's like a neutral move for Prodigy because they get a ton of exposure. People are a little shocked that LaVisca's gone, but he's not like, screw Prodigy, I'm out of here. It's like, hey, thanks to Prodigy, I love you guys. So honestly, probably a net positive. Net positive to sign Shoestrick as CEO. People love Shoestrick. That news was received very well. And, you know, they weren't done back to back. Honestly, you know what my guess is? In a week or 2 weeks, there will be another big Prodigy news, something, another pro dropped, Luke Humphrey's gone or
Gage
something
Benson
like that.
left.
Who's that?
Bro, you didn't hear the big news? Gage Benson left Prodigy.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the Maple Hill grounds crew worker, like the head.
And he was on Team's Prodigy?
Yeah, no, I'm just it's an inside joke for anyone who knows Gage.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyone who's
I
listening
see.
knows Gage.
There you go. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a smart media move. If this was planned for Kale to drop and leave today, if this was just spur of the moment, then heck, it worked out. But smart media move to spread these things out and keep Prodigy popping up in people's feed and like popping up and being like, oh yeah, Prodigy, oh yeah, Prodigy. Like, if they can keep dropping banger after banger week after week, Prodigy's on everyone's mind coming into 2025. I doubt they sign Isaac, but hey, if they sign Isaac, that's another big move that people are like, oh yeah, Prodigy.
Yeah, honestly, if they re-sign Isaac, that'd be kind of like an insane move because everyone's expecting Isaac to be gone.
Yeah, everyone thinks Isaac's gone
because
everyone.
Just the way he's kind of foreshadowed it. It seems where he said like, I want a manufacturer to take care of me, and then all the different memes he's posting of him going to Detroit and stuff like that. So, but I think that would be crazy if he signed on Project because that would be like, okay, Project's about to do something crazy.
Yep. I don't know. Prodigy's making the right moves. It'll be interesting to see if they follow through, though, because
I believe you will.
I haven't thrown a single Prodigy disc ever. Honestly, ever.
I have before, but yeah.
Actually, I've thrown an archive.
It's not my number one
That's
throwers for sure. I'm mostly like Innova and Discraft, I think, in my bag right now. Majority of it.
All right. Prove yourself, Prodigy. We believe in you.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. What? Oh, Go Throw. The news.
Oh.
What's up with that? This is competing, right? They are like trying to compete.
They say they're not competing.
Drop the down low. What happened, Ben? What are we talking about?
Basically, GK Pro, the people of the GK Pro skins, the very popular, is now rebranding to Go Throw. And they are doing their own tour. Ticketed events, by the way. This is like there's already pre-sale, already ticketed. They're doing their own tour at stops that coincide. Oh my goodness. Within the Pro Tour. So I think one's like Fatal Lake. I'm guessing they'll probably do that event when they're headed up to Massachusetts, like the weekend before, because there's always like a break before, or to Vermont. They go to Vermont first, so I'm guessing they'll do that. And yeah, they say they're not doing a competing tour. Uh, it's tough to say they're not because at the end of the day, it's another tour. So I feel like,
And it's only pros, right? There's no am field.
yeah, I don't know about that, but probably. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's only pros, and in it's if a bait and tackle store business opened up and down the street for me, and they were like, "Oh, we're not trying to compete with you," like you can say that, but you're clearly like you can't like. I feel like just because they're taking revenue they're on tour, it seems like they're competing. What maybe they're meaning by non-competing, maybe their plan isn't to be the next pro tour. Maybe their plan is just to kind of be just like a side tour for a more legitimate side tour that pros can go to, get a good amount of cash, and kind of keep their eyes on, but while they're focusing on winning the pro tour events.
Well, what they might be trying to do is what happened with the DGPT and PDGA, right?
Ooh,
Because 4 years
like
ago,
what is
PDGA
it?
Majors, PGA Tour was different than Disc Golf Pro Tour was, and they ran their own events. And then I don't know, I think it was 4 years ago. It was like either the PDGA bought the DGPT or the DGPT bought
No, it was
PDGA or
what
something.
is it? What is it called? A merger. That's what it was.
Yeah, they merged, and
Yeah.
now it's all the same. So maybe Go Throw is trying to get big enough that they merge, and they're just a part of the tour then too, which would be, I mean, honestly, a pretty smart thing.
Yeah, because
I
I
think
think
it's a smart
yeah.
move by Go Throw because right now a lot of people are hating on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Some of it valid, some of it not. You know, what can you do? And I'm gonna be honest. When I was there filming content, I was not blown away by the production crew standard and the way that they held themselves and the way they went about making decisions. I was not blown away. It seemed pretty lax, pretty chill, and that's cool. But when you're trying to be premier and trying to grow the sport, I'd expect to see a little bit more professionalism. Um, and I think by having a tour, which is quote unquote not competing, I think it's competing, pushes you to up the standard, pushes you to
Yeah.
there's fire under your butt, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Go
Good
Throw
point.
could overtake the Disc Golf Pro Tour if the Disc Golf Pro Tour doesn't make the changes that the people want to see. If Go Throw is legitimate, people enjoy going to the events, people enjoy watching the events. That's bad news bears for the Disc Golf Pro Tour because someone comes in, someone does it for a year, someone does it better. Ooh, DGN subscribers go down because people are just going to watch Go Throw's YouTube videos about their tour. If there's enough hype behind it, if there's enough pros playing, if it's interesting enough, if it's well produced enough, and that means that Disc Golf Pro Tour has to get better. So I think this is a good thing for the sport. I think it's a smart move by GK Pro or Go Throw. Smart move by Luke Humphreys. I will be really interested to see how it plays out. I think they have to make a lot of good decisions. I think they have to be professional where the Disc Golf Pro Tour has proven to not be professional. And if they just do the same thing that they've done before, make the same content, and this rebrand means nothing, then bully, nothing happens. The Disc Golf Pro Tour has no competition. But if they can prove themselves, be more professional, put out better content, have a good, successful tour, then I think this is a good thing for the sport. And I'm really interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for the sport in the essence that I think when you have competitors, it does light a fire under you, and you're like, how do I outdo them, and outlast them? So yeah, maybe this is a cool thing. I do know like disc golf's in a decline. It is. It's just what it is. But that's okay. It's perfectly natural. When there's stocks, it always booms to the peak, and then it always kind of settles at the normal, and then it booms even higher, and then that old peak is the new norm. You know what I'm saying? So disc golf's in a decline from COVID, from the boom, and it just gotta find that kind of normal level to then start growing in. So I think that's kind of like the struggles that everyone's experiencing, especially the pro tour. Just kind of loss of revenue and um like just probably just loss of revenue. I mean, I
Yeah,
know everyone's hurting.
yeah, but like, here's my issue with that. To me, it feels like I've heard a lot of disc golf is in a decline. End of sentence. I haven't heard disc golf's in a decline, so here's what we're doing. So here's how we're trying to improve. So here's how we're trying to bring new people in. Disc golf's in a decline, but in terms of market share in people that play sports, there's so many people we need to reach. You know, there's so many people we need to convince to try it once. Disc golf's in a decline. What are you doing to grow the sport? Tell me. Discraft, what are you doing to grow the sport? Disc Golf Pro Tour, what are you doing to grow the sport? Show me how you're growing the sport, and then I'll be like, okay, you're trying at least, you know? Like for me, I'm like, oh, disc golf's in a decline. This hurts my views. This hurts, you know, the people that can support me. But I'm making videos that are targeting people that are outside of disc golf, you know, that I think would be interesting to someone who has never played the sport and could hopefully introduce the sport to them so we can grow the sport. I genuinely believe that our sport is low barrier to entry and very fun, and you don't have to spend very much money to play it. I genuinely believe disc golf is one of the best sports out there. So I'm trying to share the sport, grow it, and that benefits everyone. So I just don't understand why I hear disc golf's in a decline, period. I want to hear disc golf's in decline, comma, here's what I'm doing to change that. Here's what I'm doing to fix that
Well,
and
yeah,
grow our sport, you
I
know?
think they're just two different things. Like disc golf in a decline is like a statement. It just is. And then what you're gonna do is a whole totally separate thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They're
but
not
that's what I'm
doing
saying.
anything.
But what I wasn't saying that. I was just pointing out that like everyone's struggling. That like I can understand the pressure they might be under with kind of what's going on. That's all I was saying. Because, but hopefully we'll get to the either we're plateaued now or hopefully we're plateaued now. So then over the next few years is gonna I don't know. Grow. I know you say grow to sport, grow to sport, grow to sport. I think the biggest thing to grow to sport is just like yeah, kind of what we're doing, what you're doing. It's kind of difficult to really think of these tangible things that actually would grow the sport. You know, obviously what Edge is doing and what Edge and you play, where they're going to kids' schools. That's a tangible thing where they're growing the sport. Where like 10 years from now, there's going to be thousands of kids that was their first experience with disc golf. But for adults, it's just what program are we able to do to like get its eyes in front of people where people would want to enjoy it. It's like I'm not saying that as in like we're lost. I'm generally asking a question like what do you think is a tangible way other than spreading the word, making content, being on like doing the pro tour events? What's like a tangible way that you think or like we be able to grow the sport in like a I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to think of like in like an outreach program. You know, we see missionaries go we see the Paul McBeth Foundation go to Africa and put up a 9-hole. That, in my opinion, is growing the sport. What other ways do you think would be beneficial in growing the sport? If you were to like, you know, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm asking, but
So I have a few ideas. So first of all, when I said the sentence thing earlier, I was speaking in metaphor. No companies come out and said that exact sentence. I'm just speaking in metaphor. I'm talking about their actions. Second of all, I think there's a lot of places, and this is just my opinion, and I'm sure they have people, or I'd like to hope that they have people researching this and coming up with ideas for this. But my opinion is, yeah, you say getting more eyes on the sport. That is the first place I would look. Right now, there's just so many people who don't even know about the sport. So what, like literally what I was talking about earlier, why does, like, right now I do this part-time. I spend 20 hours a week doing this. If I had a manufacturer come to me and be like, "Hey, we'll pay your full-time salary for you to make videos about this," I could probably reach, or optimistically, I think I could reach double or triple what I'm reaching right now if I was just able to spend 40 hours a week doing this. And I think there's a lot of creators like that who are doing this part-time, or don't have the funds to make these videos all the time. But if a manufacturer is willing to step up and be the backer of that person, I genuinely think that there would be more eyes on the sport, more fans of the sport, because that person would be able to make more content like that. I think that's a very tangible way that these manufacturers could be investing in our sport. The most I see these manufacturers do is send a few discs to these people, like I am very shocked, and I'm very biased, but I'm very shocked to not see more manufacturers dish out even teeny weeny contracts to these content creators who are pulling decent views. I've pulled a lot of views. I've pulled over 100 million views on shorts, and I've pulled over 1 million views on my full length channel, and they're not unvaluable views. I have gotten many comments saying that people started playing the sport because of me. And if there was a manufacturer who came forth and was like, "Hey, we're going to enable you," sorry, if there was a major manufacturer, Trash Panda and Armory have helped me a ton already, but they are not able to give me the money that I need to support my family full time. And that is the only reason I'm not doing this yet. I'm very grateful to Trash Panda, and I'm very grateful to Armory. They're the best, and you should definitely buy Trash Panda, and you should definitely buy Armory. And I'm not just saying that. They're genuinely the best. But what I'm saying is,
Well,
if a
I can say that
manufacturer,
because I'm not sponsored by them, so I agree. There you go,
yeah,
unbiased.
there you go. There you go, unbiased. But if a manufacturer came forth and made my full-time dreams possible, I think I could grow the sport and grow their chunk of the sport as well. Who knows? I'm biased, whatever. Outside
I
of
think what
that,
you said is actually a solid plan.
I think there's other ways as well. So I think what manufacturers could do is start polling people and seeing how they got into the sport and then leaning into that. One of the first reasons I started playing the sport is I was just at the park and I saw someone doing that. So, okay, how can me as a manufacturer reach someone at these parks, and come up with, you know, start running tournaments where, you give out free discs or something, like I think there's a lot of ways that they're missing out. Like, boots on the ground, what can we do locally? What can we do locally to get people interested and just give it a try? Because so many people just won't give it a try. It takes a lot of gall to try the sport for the first time. You have to go buy a disc. You can't just walk up. But that's still a lower barrier to entry than some sports. And there's just not enough knowledge about it, is my take. Okay, last thing. On top of that, when I first started playing the sport, it was so hard for me to figure out some of this random stuff because I didn't have friends in the sport. I didn't know how to play a tournament. I didn't know about UDisc. I didn't know about how to score, like what the specific rules. I thought you could jump putt up to 6 feet. I thought 6 feet was the range. I thought outside of
You
6
were
feet you
jump
could jump
putting.
putt. Yeah. Yeah, I thought
That's
you could just
funny.
do it whenever. Like, there are so many niche rules and niche things that you don't know until you know the questions to ask. Like, I didn't even know the questions to ask. Like I thought you had to pay member fees to like the club of every tournament you had to play, and I thought you had to have a certain rating, and I thought you had to have this, but turns out it's super easy. Just go on disc golf scene. But why is disc golf scene like PGA needs to buy a disc golf scene or something like that and just make it more streamlined, or you need to be able to register through PGA. It's just so confusing, so random.
I think you just should make a video, the ultimate beginner's guide to disc golf, and just go over that.
Honestly, I've thought about it. I also have thought about making a video that's like how to play in your first disc golf tournament, or how to sign up for a disc golf tournament, or something like that. Because I just was like, that's a question I had, and I didn't play a disc golf tournament for 3 or 4 years just because I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to sign up for one.
Did you know of them though?
Yeah, I saw people playing them, and I wanted to play, but I didn't know. I didn't know how it worked. So there you go. There's my rant.
Yeah, I honestly
I've
don't even know
ranted
how I
all
found
episode.
out about disc golf scene either. That's a good point. It's definitely very obscure.
It's so obscure, and a
To
lot of
find
it
out
seems
about it,
like,
I guess once you find out, it's like makes sense. But
yeah, I feel like a lot of people play the sport because they had a really good friend who got into the sport, and then they told them everything, you know. But what about the people that don't have any friends at all that play disc golf? You know, they have friends, but they just don't have friends that play disc golf. It's just, in my opinion, it's way harder for them to get into the sport. And that's where I came from. You know, it took, like, I just obsess over stuff. So I figured it out. But like someone who's just trying to be a casual enjoyer of the sport, it's a lot harder, you know? So just make it easier. Make it easier.
and with that, Funsie.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go ahead and time me on that one and roast me, because I feel like I pulled a classic Ben and just talked for like 10 minutes without letting you respond.
Here's the thing. That's not a bad thing. I don't know why you guys make it as a bad thing. This is a podcast. Like
That's true.
what do you mean? This is good content. I didn't have anything to share.
Okay, there you go.
There you
Well,
go.
as a listener of this podcast, let us know if you enjoyed the Jay Millie rant, if you hated the Jay Millie rant, if you disagree. Let me know. Honestly, let us know your questions you want us to ask Ben about Beast Games.
Oh yeah,
Because I
I
have
guess
questions, but
that's another good. I didn't think of that. Yeah, comment below if you listen this far. If you have to watch the first 2 episodes, then comment below any questions, and we'll do a cool little Funsie special maybe
yeah,
about it. And then just leave it at that. So yeah, hope everyone has a happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, and thanks for listening to us. It's been an amazing year so far, and I know it's not the last Funsie episode. We might, I think we have one more, actually, which is kind of insane.
let's go.
Wait. Now that I'm thinking about it, I forgot we're recording on a Monday, so New Year's Eve is when we're supposed to. I'm guessing it's Tuesday because it's is December 31st. So we might have to record earlier again.
We'll see.
Figure that out later. So this
might be the last episode
Who
of the year.
knows? Of the year,
Yeah.
maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, thanks for watching.
Well,
y'all.
we love you guys.
Funsie, baby.
Funsie.
And we miss you, Sack. Sack Daddy.